so, we need to introduce ourselves so that you know who you're seeing and who you're hearing from this morning. My name is Megan Greeley. Some of you have seen me before. I've been up on this stage a few different times. This year I'll be at all 4 forums. I could not be more excited to be with you all summer. I work at John Hancock. You can tell because I have one of my Team John Hancock shirts on. There's a whole bunch of us here today. And I get to work in what I think is one of the coolest teams in the whole company. I work in government relations. So that means I help the company talk to elected officials like the mayor, who will be here today, and members of Congress and the Senate. And companies do that a lot more than you would think because we have to follow, the different rules that they set out, and we love to work with them and closely. I love my job. I started at John Hancock as a summer intern, so just like what you guys are doing this summer. Who here is interning at John Hancock this summer? All right, give us a shout. Woo! Go Team John Hancock! All right, so I have this amazing team. They're all around. You can see us in our Team John Hancock shirts, and we're super excited for you all to be here today. But we don't get through this program without a little help, so I want to introduce you to my 2 co-MCs for the summer.
All right, good morning. My name is Sheena Collier. I work at the Greater Boston Chamber of Commerce. Does anyone know what a Chamber of Commerce is? About 3 people, all right. So I'll tell you just quickly what my role is, and if you want to learn more about the Chamber, we can talk separately. But my role in particular as the Director of Economic Opportunity is focusing on issues around making sure people of color are able to succeed in their businesses throughout the city and also have access to good jobs. So in a nutshell, that's what I do. I'm from New York, but I live in Hyde Park. Does anyone in here live in Hyde Park? All right. And I've been in Boston for almost 15 years. I came here about 15 years ago to go to grad school at Harvard and have been here ever since, and I love Boston. No big deal, this is Harvard. But no, and I'm excited to be here with you all, and my colleague Justin and I will be here with you throughout the summer, so this is our first time leading, and we're excited to be here with you.
Nice to meet you, Sheena. Hi everyone, my name is Justin Kang. I also work at the Greater Boston Chamber of Commerce. Let's try it again. Who knows what a Chamber of Commerce is now? All right, a little bit better. There you go. Good job, Sheena. So myself, I am from New Jersey. Who's from New Jersey? Oh, we got a couple people. All right, representing. But now I live in Boston. Over the last 13 years, I came here to a college called Brandeis University, and it has been a great experience being part of the Boston community. I just want to say thank you to John Hancock and the entire team for trusting me and Sheena to be charismatic for the rest of the summer. We hope we do you proud. So thank you all, and to a great rest of the summer.
All right, can we give them a big John Hancock MLK Scholars welcome? I really want to say first, congratulations, because all of you were selected for this program, selected for your internships, and that's a huge deal. I guarantee most of the adults in this room were not doing summer internships in high school the way that you guys are. We made it work, but you guys have this big step up. It's a huge deal. So I want to also tell you a little bit about why we do this and why we get you guys to come in here together as part of your internship. So whether you knew it or not when you applied for your internship, you're not just working for your nonprofit, you also get to be designated as an MLK Scholar for the whole summer. That means that you are part of the community here in this room. So there's about 650 of us here. That's a lot of people. And it took a lot of coffee for me to have the courage to talk to 650 people, so I'll take credit. But the John Hancock team here, part of the MLK Scholar mission is to make sure that Boston becomes the absolute best version of itself that it can be. We need a really diverse pool of thought. We need each and every one of you guys to be at the table, making the decisions, setting goals for the city, and helping us follow through and reach those goals. So part of these forums, we're going to have 4 of them. This is the first one. By the end of the summer, we're going to be showcasing everyone. So everyone has an opportunity to showcase their talent, show us what they've got, right? If you're a physical artist, if you're a singer, God bless you. All right, so before we get started, Sheena's going to help us out by laying some ground rules for our space, giving us a feel for what we should be feeling like here today.
And first I'm going to start out with recognizing some folks that are in the room. So we'll do a couple of our folks that we have up front that I think you'll hear from at some point, but give them a round of applause. We have Chief Marty Martinez. Woo! We have President Bob Brown from Boston University. Thank you for hosting us. Jane Bowman from the Boston Globe. And Carla Ventura from Partners Healthcare. All right, so we also want to find out who else is in the room. So if you are a returning scholar, so you were here, this is not your first year working through MLK Scholars, raise your hand, give yourself a shout. All right? If you are a new scholar, so this is your first year working through MLK Scholars, raise your hand, give a shout out. All right, so most of us are here. If you are a volunteer, a facilitator for the day, put your hand up, give a shout, give them a round of applause, all of our volunteers that are here. And if you are from any of our partner organizations or funders, so the City of Boston, Partners Healthcare, John Hancock staff, Boston Globe, put your hand up and let's give you a round of applause. Or Boston University. All right. So a lot of people in the room, it seems like there's a lot of new folks in the room. So we're going to talk about some ground rules, which basically are just our agreements for our time together. So we want to make sure there's a lot of us, and so we need to have some things that we're all on the same page about just to make sure that this runs smoothly and we have fun and we're respectful to each other. So our first rule is around everyone being engaged or this being an inclusive environment. So basically what that means is everyone needs to be included in here. We have people that are new, people that are returning. I'm sure some of you are very vocal and don't mind stepping up and speaking, and we have others who maybe aren't as vocal or outspoken. So we want to make sure that there's space for everyone and everyone feels included, and it's really our job to make sure that happens. So if you see someone that you feels like needs to be more included, make sure that you're making room for them to speak up or to participate. Our second rule is around just having a safe and respectful space so that everyone has an opportunity to speak or listen or share. So I'm sure everyone here knows what respect means, but I'll just say that I think that what that looks like for us on these Fridays is not criticizing folks, making sure that when people share their opinion that we respect it. We really want to push each other to learn this summer and really talk about some things maybe that we don't always get a chance to talk about. So we want to make sure it's a safe space for everyone to do that. Along with that, your role is really to pay attention and stay engaged. And so you're working all week, you're coming here and getting a lot of new information, hearing from a lot of speakers. It's really up to you to make sure that you're staying engaged and helping your friends to stay engaged as well. And we're hoping that you push yourself to learn. So for example, today we're going to be talking about leadership and goal setting. This might be something you talk about all the time. It might be something that's new to you, but it's really up to you to make sure that you're getting something out of this. And our last two, one is using dialogue or words that are supportive of each other. So you'll see a theme that goes throughout these of just really being respectful and supportive. Some of us know each other, some of us are totally new to each other. We just want to make sure that the words that we're using, things that we're saying to each other, respect who people are, how they identify, and just how they're showing up in the room. So let's just make sure that we're using words that build each other up instead of criticizing or kind of tearing each other down. And the last piece is around having fun. And so I'm going to start off the fun. So I want to take a big selfie. And so I need you all to do something, because I'm going to post this. I'm going to turn around in a second. So while I'm doing this, figure out what you're doing, because I got to unlock my phone.
Take a minute to find your best side.
What's your best side? What's your favorite pose? We're going to try to make this work. So I'm going to take 3 pictures. My phone takes 3 pictures really quickly. So are you all ready? Maybe you all can dig down here. So I'm gonna count to 3, and we're gonna say selfie. No, let's say MLK. All right. So and then do your best pose. All right. 1,
want to share your photos, maybe we'll throw them up on the screen. It's up to you. But you use that hashtag, we can follow along, see your victories all summer.
Just so you know, Sheena's Insta celebrity, so that's so we're gonna take it to the next level. My favorite thing during the summer, as you can imagine, is the beach. Who likes going to the beach? There you go. And when I go to the beach, I go with my trusted beach ball. It is the item that I've kept since my childhood. So what we're gonna do is a game of teamwork, a little bit about competition, but we're gonna see which section here in this auditorium can be the best team by keeping the ball up as long as it can. So we're gonna have team 1 right here, team 2, team 3, team 4, team 5.
I didn't hear a lot of support for those teams.
Let's try again. I think you're right, Megan. Team 1. Team 2. A little soprano there. Team 3. How are we gonna do in team 4? Team 4. All right. Safe space, non-judgments. That's good. Team 5. There you go. So what we're gonna do, each team will get a ball, a beach ball, my favorite item. And what we're gonna do is toss them up. We're not gonna start yet though. And you're gonna try to see how many times you can tap the ball without it hitting the floor in 60 seconds. Now, I need everyone's attention. 1 second. If it hits the floor, you gotta start over. And I'm sorry, you gotta start over. Now what we want you to do is while you hit the ball as a team, if you hit it once, say 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. And before we begin, we always want to start a plan with a goal. So, team 1, what is your aspiration? How many times do you think you can hit the ball without it hitting the floor? 1?
200? You only got 60 seconds.
All right, let's try again. 25. We got 25 here. Team 1, 25.
25?
Team 2, what do we got? 20. 20. Team 3. I heard 50, 25, 20, 50. Team 4. 20, okay. And team 5, what do we got? 76, I'm going to go with that. 25, 20, 50, 25, 76. And again, this is a competition, but also a collaboration. And we're going to begin.
I've got a timer,
got a timer right here. Thank you, Megan.
We're going to time up 60 seconds.
So everyone, if you want to stand up and pretend you're at Martha's Vineyard or Miami, wherever you want to be, I'm going to count down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh no, I see someone's already dropped it.
Marty, are you part of the team?
61.
Wow.
Yeah?
61. Let's give everyone a round of applause.
Great. Great job, everyone.
Who got it? Who got the highest?
Everyone won. That's the moral of the game. We're all winners.
I think honesty is one of our ground rules too, guys.
So that game just exemplifies sort of Tashina's point, what she was mentioning in the values about teamwork, collaboration, having fun. So we hope that this beach game was a lot of fun, but also shows what you can accomplish with goals, and oftentimes you'll exceed them. So we just want to say thank you for participating, and I'm going to turn it over to Megan.
Yeah, I saw something else that was really cool there about teamwork. So this section has some big gaps here, right? You see how, for some reason, we filled in, this was unassigned, you guys filled in randomly. This section here has some gaps, but people were like diving and preaching, and they were filling in those gaps for their team members. And the same here, you guys have a little gap between these two rows, and it went back and forth really well. So well done. I'm glad you guys are all watching out for your teams. Get energized and work together. This is huge.
Great job.
Great job, everyone.
All right, so I'm going to come down here for this part. We're now going to start a couple of speakers, and we have some really amazing guests here, guys, to talk to you. And if you've been here before, you know that as MLK Scholars, one of the things we do is we talk about leadership in all different ways and how you can be a leader in the arts, you can be a leader in business, and sometimes those take the same characteristics, and sometimes they take things that are a little different. So we want you guys to listen to all of these speakers really carefully, hear their stories, hear what they have to say, and think about how some of it might apply to your life or what you can learn from them. Our first speaker, and we're so lucky to have this guest with us to hear, is our host, Dr. Robert Brown, who's the 10th president of Boston University. Dr. Brown's leadership has positioned BU as a trustworthy partner, giving back through a wide range of educational, cultural, and social and medical services to the city of Boston. Throughout his tenure, he's renewed and expanded BU's partnership with the city, and I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with the scholarship programs that BU offers to students of Boston Public School Systems. So please, if you're not, check it out. They do a really good job supporting this community. We're so grateful, Dr. Brown, that you're here today, and I hope it's okay that I'm introducing you. I did go to Boston College. It's a friendly rivalry, but I had a secret the whole time I was at BC. I don't know how familiar you guys are with how intense the hockey rivalry is between BC and BU, but I'm actually a BU hockey fan. So I used to sneak out to BU hockey games as a BC student. So thank you so much for creating this community and welcoming us here. And everyone give a warm MLK welcome to Dr. Brown.
Good morning. Now, everyone was trying to figure out how to get people to acknowledge something. I want to just ask, how many of you from Boston? All right. You know, you have a great advantage. We were talking in the front row. Boston, there's only one way you can be from Boston, and that's you go to school here, right? All of us are transplants, and we will be transplants our entire life. But you go to school in Boston, and I'm so proud that BU is a host for the MLK Summer Scholars Program. This program has become a fixture at the university, and we've become accustomed to using the MLK abbreviation. So I'd like to just talk a minute about that in kind of a serious tone, because it's really good to remember that MLK stands for Martin Luther King Jr., who earned his PhD right here at Boston University. And as you know, his life and his great potential to lead us to what he talked about as the higher ground of moral understanding and reconciliation was stolen from us 50 years ago by an assassin. That happened 50 years ago this April. Something to remember and recall. Too often, a person of King's stature is taken from us early, and it's tempting to justify a particular idea or argument by saying, if Dr. King was alive today, he would say, when the speaker doesn't know at all exactly what Dr. King would have said. But I'm going to risk making that mistake. I don't think it's presuming too much to say that if he were here today in front of you, the promising youth of Boston, participating in this summer program and setting a course for their professional lives, he would be encouraged and perhaps renewed in his characteristic hopefulness for all of us and for humanity. You are that future. Dr. King's spirit is alive at Boston University, in our classrooms, in our student residences, in all up and down Commonwealth Avenue. We are a university of the city of Boston, and all you have to do to see that is notice that the biggest hallway we have on our campus is Commonwealth Avenue. And I'm hoping that some of you, because of the summer program and what you're doing at BPS, will have you join us at this university. This fall, we will welcome over 80 students from Boston Public Schools into our freshman class, all receiving full financial aid without student loans for tuition and fees. You can be one of those students. At Boston University, we're very pleased to partner with John Hancock, the Globe, Partners Healthcare, and the City of Boston to ensure that this program is an annual learning opportunity for you. I hope that while you're on campus for workshops, you'll notice the energy and enthusiasm that is characteristic of a great research university, and that you can begin imagining enrolling here in the not-too-distant future. I also want to thank Mayor Walsh for his unwavering support of this program. The mayor is committed to creating opportunities for the youth of Boston, and the MLK program is a tangible example of that commitment. The last thing I would say is I noticed that a component of this year's training is an online financial literacy curriculum. This is really a great idea. I wish I had had it when I was your age. I come from a low-income family and had to work at many summer and after-school jobs starting at about the age of 14. And knowing how to manage those first hard-earned dollars is a great skill to have and cultivate and to begin now and nurture throughout your life. It's a wonderful thing to try to figure out how the dollars you made when you were 14, 15, 16 become the baseline, the foundation for your future because of the ethics and, that you put in place back at that time about how you were going to spend the money. That doesn't mean I didn't buy candy and other things. I now have the pleasure of welcoming Manny Alves, Senior Vice President of John Hancock and General Counsel. John Hancock is an organizing sponsor of the MLK Scholars Program, a great friend and neighbor of Boston University, and a committed citizen of Boston. I also note that Mr. Alves has degrees from Brown University, Boston College, and Boston University.
Thank you, President Brown. Thank you, Boston University, for hosting us today and for the remainder of the summer. On behalf of Mary Ann Harrison, who is the President and CEO of John Hancock, and the entire John Hancock team, I want to welcome all of you to this program and to the beginning of what I ardently hope will be a very meaningful summer experience. Mary Ann would have loved to be here with us today. As I said, she's the president of John Hancock. Unfortunately, she's fighting a cold and could not join us, sends her regrets. I want to say a few words about these sessions, these forums. You heard Megan say there'll be 4 of them. They're unique. It's an opportunity for 650 of you to gather together, to get to know one another, and to learn skills that we hope will guide you as you develop through high school and college and beyond. The third thing that you will be able to do here is to interact with people like President Brown and other senior leaders in the city of Boston. So I'm going to say those three things again, because I want you guys to think about this for a second. When you come here on Fridays, you get an opportunity to interact with each other. I would encourage you to fight the instinct to congregate and sit with those you know. Don't do that. Meet new people. Expand your social network in the real sense, not just in the social media sense. Interact with others you haven't had a chance to meet. Get to know them. And when we're talking up here about substantive matters, skills development, Sheena mentioned this, engage, ask questions, raise your hand. The more you put into this, the more you'll get out. And equally important, when we have senior people from the city around these rooms, talk to them, build relationships, use them. These people can be useful to you as you develop through high school, college, and beyond. A few words about John Hancock and the program overall. At John Hancock, we're always looking for ways to make a difference in the lives of our customers and our communities. We're focused on developing healthier, more equitable communities, and this program plays a large part in delivering on that mission. This is the largest summer employment program of its kind. Its goals is to give folks like you, promising students, the opportunity to develop problem-solving and leadership skills. Pay attention, engage. There's much to be gained from these sessions and the program overall. We do this through paid summer internships, these Friday forums where you're going to be talking to each other and hearing from speakers, and through the financial literacy curriculum that Dr. Brown mentioned, which I think and hope you will all take advantage of. You can't start too early in thinking about financial management. As you enter college and you start hearing about loans and how you finance your education, it's very important to understand how to manage your assets. But I'll say this, these forums are not intended to be lectures as much as I may be making it sound like such. The idea is to have a conversation, to hear from you. So that means each of you has a responsibility to share your voice. Ask questions, seek clarifications, put your hand up. Engage, you're gonna hear that word a lot. When you're here, truly be here. Ask questions. The more you put into it, the more you'll get out of it. Now, we're very grateful at John Hancock to stand alongside some great partners. You heard about President Brown speak about Boston University, Partners Healthcare, the Boston Globe, and the City of Boston. Without them, this couldn't have been done. And this program, at its core, seeks to foster equitable access to economic empowerment. Those are a lot of words, but you can parse them. Equitable access to economic empowerment. There's been a disproportionate access by folks that look like me and a lot of you to the economics in this country and in this city. And this is a way to get you folks on the ground floor. And so take advantage of the finance curriculum and learn how to manage your assets. It is a win-win proposition for the following reason. It's a win for you folks. You're going to get access to gainful employment. You're going to learn some lifelong skills that I hope you put to good use. It's a win for our nonprofit partners, who you will be helping and providing extra help as they seek to achieve their missions. And from the business community's perspective, this program is an investment in our future. We are creating a pipeline of folks, you, who, through your work ethic, diligence, diversity, all kinds of diversity, ways of thinking, and so on, will help the business community address some of its vexing challenges. So a win for you, a win for the nonprofit community, a win for the business community. It's a program we're very proud to be be a part of, and very thankful for our partners for helping us bring it to you. But don't take my word for it. I'm going to invite some folks from some of our partners to come up and share with you the experience they've had in being part of this program. Jane?
Am I good? So I'm going to ask a really tricky question. Does everyone know what the Boston Globe is? Thank you. Thank you, thank you. I am really proud to be here and to be part of this program, and I can't tell you how excited I am to see you all come together every summer, so thank you for allowing me to be part of this. I'm going to tell you a quick story and 3 things I learned from it, because that was my assignment. So this happened a few years ago, so I was pretty well into my career. Picture this: dark, stormy, pouring rain, freezing cold. A little different from today. I'm asleep. I'm a good sleeper, so I'm sound asleep. Phone rings, it's 3:30 in the morning. It's my boss, the CEO of the Boston Globe. Jane, we've got a problem. Okay. We've got about 200,000 papers to deliver, and the vendor doesn't have enough people to deliver them. Where are you? Halfway to the depot, I think. So we start mobilizing people, we get everybody together, we're in our cars, and we get there, and we start delivering papers. So here's the 3 things I learned. I can still learn. I now know how to fold a paper perfectly while reading a delivery route, putting the paper in a plastic bag because it's wet out, and I can toss. Not an athlete, but I can toss a paper and hit a spot on a porch across the street. Took me a little while, a couple times getting out of the car and picking it up, but I got there. The second thing I learned is that at 3:30 in the morning when I called our colleagues, not only people who had just started the day before came because they were so proud and they knew how important our customers were, but the owner of the Globe, Mr. Henry and Mrs. Henry, John and Linda, were also out delivering these papers that night and for the next few weeks. It rained every one of those weeks. Just not complaining, but just want to tell you that. The other thing that I learned, the third thing that I learned is that I want to work for an organization that matters. So we started about 3:30. By about 7 o'clock, while we were still delivering papers and well into the afternoon because we were slow, we were still learning, people were waiting at their doors for their Boston Globe and thanking us for being there and bringing them something that was so important to their lives. So what I challenge you guys this summer to think about, who are the kind of people that you want to work with? Are they the kind of people that will step up in times of crisis? And are you one of those people? And the other thing is what kind of organization do you want to work for? Do you want to work for something that matters? And what matters to people, it could be fashion, it could be art, it could be news, but find things that you think matter and be part of that. So thank you, have a great summer, and thanks for letting me be part of this. I'm going to introduce you to our next speaker from Partners.
Good morning. My name is Carla Ventura. I've worked at Partners Healthcare. It's not as clear as the Boston Globe, but Partners Healthcare is part of many hospitals in the city. So if you know Mass General, Brigham and Women's, Faulkner, we're all part of the same company. And I've been a senior grants administrator at research management, so also not very clear. So afterwards, happy to explain if you have 2 hours what we do. So when I was around your age, I came to Lynn, Massachusetts from my home country of El Salvador. I worked really hard to learn English, and with the help of my community and my local TRIO program, I was able to attend college. So fast forward, I graduated from Mount Ida College, and that summer I had nothing for work. So I took an opportunity to work at Coffee Central at Massachusetts General Hospital, which is the coffee place in the middle, in the heart of Mass General Hospital. So it seems like a regular job, doesn't it? It was not. It was far from it. It was a place where you got to meet so many people. And I'm gonna look at my notes. to tell you that I learned so many lessons. My favorite, I would say, is discipline. I had to wake up at 4 a.m. every day. But the other lesson was that creating and maintaining relationships was so important for the rest of my career. Many people along the way helped me explore career path, career opportunities. That's how I got to the department that I am today. So, I will ask you, please, 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 when you're out there in your summer program, take all the new opportunities, talk to everyone. Many people want to show you the way, show you, help you explore. So have fun this summer. Thank you.
Justina, you want to come up? Thank you.
My name is Justina Riopel, and I work at John Hancock. This is my second summer as an MLK Scholar. One experience from last summer that really influenced me was when I shadowed government relations with Megan. And it helped me see that there are all types of factors to the business that are impacted by government.
Yeah, my name's Anthony. I'm 17, and I work at John Hancock. Sorry, I'm kind of hungry. And I work in the marketing department. Basically, what I learned, this is my second year coming to John Hancock, well, MLK Scholars through John Hancock. And what I learned is networking. Networking is like, there's like 650. There's more people than that. But there's so many opportunities here, so many people of different backgrounds, so many people of different races, you know, just different backgrounds in general. And what I say, like what I learned last year is networking. Like I got so many like connections and opportunities, and I learned so much from y'all. And you know, I just like to like give my knowledge and receive that knowledge back. And what I'm gonna say, like what to take from this summer, basically, is just like get yourself out there, get your voice out there, because I know everybody, like every 650 plus, like I said, there's more people. Just get your voice out there, and trust me. This isn't just for the summer. Like, if you get connections, you can get like connections with a lot of people. There's a lot of important people with a lot of power in this room. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing those comments and experiences. So, scholars, as you go through the summer, I hope some of these stories will stay with you. But more importantly, I hope you'll make your own. Be on the lookout for those opportunities where moments like what Anthony just described are just there to be seized. And just keep in mind that sometimes seizing on the smallest of opportunity will make all the difference. Be engaged. Be on the lookout for it. Enjoy your summer. Have a great time. And I really, truly, truly hope that this will be a very meaningful experience. Thank you and welcome. So my time's up, and it gives me great pleasure to introduce you to Carrie Mays. Who probably needs no introduction. Carrie is an MLK Scholar. She's with Teen Empowerment. She's going to share some remarks and perform a short spoken word piece for us. Carrie.
Black girl magical quip, finessing in my skins. I got gold mines in my melanin, gold mines in my melanin, gold mines in my melanin. Hey, melanin rich, got rhythm in my hips. Black girl magical quip, finessing in my skin. Said I'm super duper melanacious, super duper melanacious, super duper melanacious. Underestimating cause my skin in age. Black is beautiful and youth are powerful. Black is beautiful and youth are powerful. Black is beautiful and youth youth are powerful.
Run that back. Okay.
So, somebody took my speech off of here, but I'm just going to talk about myself, introduce myself a little bit. So my name is Carrie Mays. I've been an MLK Scholar for 4 years. I'm a youth organizer at Teen Empowerment. And that was an original song that I recently just released called Melanaceous. So, thank you. Good morning, beautiful people.
Good morning.
Yes, I have gold mines and magic in my skin, but I want to remind each one of you today that you do too. My name is Carrie Mays. I'm 17 years old, a youth organizer at Teen Empowerment, and have been doing the work of a social justice warrior for going on for 4 years. Woo! I am a proud Bostonian, but I'm also a young, Black, female, Bostonian leader that recognizes the need for change. I'm fighting with other youth in the city on the front lines for more resources and increased youth voice. I believe we are living in such a critical time where there are more overt threats towards humanity. I'm fighting for humanity. And I know that might not sound as fun as listening to Drake's new album and screaming at the top of your lungs, Kiki, do you love me? Weird. But let's be honest. It's also not fun to be a bystander or victim of racism, sexism, bigotry, and especially ageism. Injustices have always existed. But you know what's been here just as long? The powerful force of the youth. And that is us. That is me, that is you, and you in the black sweater right there. Yeah, in the glasses, I see you. Don't hide your power, boy. Ow. In 1963, the Children's March of Birmingham was the catalyst for desegregation across this whole entire country. Who do you think were out there on the front lines protesting for their rights? Thank you. The youth. Fast forward to March 2018. Over 1 million people in the U.S. marched for their lives, protesting against gun violence and the lack of conversation around school safety. Once again, who was out there on the front lines protesting for their rights? Thank you. And as you can see, youth have been on the front lines leading change throughout history, and we will continue to do so. Aren't just born. In order for youth to lead, we need 2 things. First, as young people, we need to believe in ourselves that we have the ability to make changes in our communities, in our lives, and in this world. We have to take advantage of the resources and opportunities we have to build as skilled leaders. One opportunity that we all should take advantage of, and I surely have taken advantage of, is our summer job and these Friday MLK leadership forums. This is my 4th year as an MLK Scholar, and the experiences I've had here fuels my passion and provides me with knowledge, experiences, relationships, and tools to help me lead at my best. Here, I've discussed topics that are important to me and my community that I usually don't get to discuss at school. And I've heard new perspectives on issues that I've never been exposed to before. Now, the second thing that we need are positive partnerships with adults. Yes, youth need you. You over there in suit, and you over there holding the microphone. We need you to invest in the youth, in supporting the youth. We need you to invest resources and provide opportunities. We need adults everywhere to use the powers that they have to support youth. And that means providing money to youth organizations and programs, inviting youth voice to the table, providing your time, your mentorship, your encouragement, and much more. And let me tell you a secret. The more you work with the youth, the more you stay looking younger. And I'm grateful for John Hancock, partners like BU, the nonprofit agencies, and the adult facilitators in this room who show us what investment in youth looks like. Thank you to my peers, and thank you to the adults in my life who see that youth are powerful. Thank you. So now, I'd like to invite to the stage an example of an adult who has invested in young people and shows up for them like literally every single day. Your next speaker, Lisa Hortonberry, the Executive Director of Camp Harborview.
Let's give it up for Carrie. Come on, really? Amazing. So I was actually planning, good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you. We're wrapping up. I promise I'll be short and sweet, get you to your next thing, because I know you're tired of hearing the old people talk. But I will say, I have to say, great minds think alike, because Carrie kind of stole my thunder, because what I planned to do was when I came up, I was going to say, MLK Scholars, I have a very serious question for you. Oh. Don't fret. Don't fret. We got it. We got it. I got my big important question. I knew this group would like it. I need to hear it, though. Kiki, do you love me? Are you riding? Thank you. I had to do it. I had to do it, you guys. I had a plan when I came up, and Carrie stole the thunder, but I feel like great minds think alike, so we're on the same page. I wanted to sort of keep it short and sweet, and we've heard from a lot of people about a lot of amazing opportunities that this program provides you in the city. Being MLK Scholars is an opportunity that you should seize. And I thought a lot when they invited me to come today. They asked me to talk a little bit about myself and share a little bit about my leadership journey. And in an effort to keep it short and sweet, but to share a little bit about who I am and how I wasn't always necessarily supposed to be a leader, I thought maybe I would share a little bit about my background and then just a couple leadership lesson tips to take with you and use as you wish over the next couple months. So my name is Lisa, and I'm actually a Boston transplant. I've lived in Dorchester for the last 22 years, so about half my life, representing the dot. But I actually come by way of Cape Cod. And so what's interesting is I grew up on Cape Cod, and when people in this room think of Cape Cod, they think sort of the beach house and vacations and lots of money. And all those things are actually very accurate and very, very true. I think what was different is that my experience as a Cape Codder was unlike many of my peers. I was never skinny enough. I was never white enough. I was never rich enough. I didn't have a beach house, and a boat. And all my friends did. And for many, many years in high school, I was often insecure, just about who I was as a person, right? The boys weren't looking at me, right? I didn't have many boyfriends. I wasn't very cute. Well, I was, but they didn't think so. I learned when I got to Boston, that changed. That's right. Thank you. But it was tough, and it was tough to figure out how to navigate and listening to adults who were constantly around me that were saying I was supposed to be a leader, I was supposed to stand up, I was supposed to be active, I was supposed to have a powerful voice. But often when you're sort of insecure in your own skin, it feels almost impossible to be able to execute and live up to that expectation. And some folks in this room may have experienced similar feelings. And so for me, it wasn't until I sort of understood who I was and came to grips, I think, with the reality of who was Lisa, half Cape Cod, now half Boston. What did I want to stand for as a leader, and what were the things that mattered to me? And quickly what I knew is that I wanted to be an advocate for young people who had similar experiences as me, who often felt they didn't fit in, who often felt they weren't sure they had a voice or how to execute that voice. And so I spent the last 20 plus years of my professional career in the nonprofit sector advocating for kids who look just like me, to be completely honest. And I've learned a couple of things along the way about leadership that I wanted to share with you guys, and they're very, very simple. So first, when I think about leaders and I think about the folks that I want to hire, and many of you I will hopefully hire in my future, I have folks in our program here who are leaders in training who I intend to hire. in the future because they epitomize what it means to be an MLK Scholar. They demonstrate servant leadership, they demonstrate commitment to the community, they demonstrate perseverance and resiliency in difficult times, and they fight for what's just and what they believe in. And so when I think about leaders and the folks that are in this room, I leave you with a couple things. To me, when I think about a leader is someone who does the right thing when nobody's looking, right? A leader is somebody who does the right thing when nobody's looking. What does that mean? That means when your boss is out of the office, you don't kick in and put on Kiki, do you love me, right? You actually dig in and do more work, right? You dig in and do more work. You ask, how can I help, right? You help your peers, you help your teammates, you dig in. Second thing when I think about leaders is, I think good leaders are people who are willing to do anything no matter what it is, top to bottom. I often tell my staff, I'm the executive director, so technically I'm at the top of the food chain. But you will see me picking up trash like the next man on any given day if that's what needs to happen in order for us to get the work done. And so I expect, thank you, I expect for our leaders in our program to do just that. So whether that is cleaning up trash after lunch and 450 campers are running through the Great Hall, or that's leading that presentation at the fancy boardroom table, right? You need to be able to execute on both spaces and show your people that you're willing to do everything that you ask of them. And then lastly, I would say people who are good leaders are folks who are willing to sacrifice their personal self for the well-being of their teammates or the mission or the cause. And that's the hardest thing to do, right? We're sort of selfish people by nature, right? We sort of want to come up, we want to do better, we want the best, we want to make lots of money, we sort of want it all for us, and that makes sense, right? We're working hard to be able to have that in our lives. But I think it's really important to know when to back up and say, I need to make a decision that actually isn't about me at all, but is about everyone else that's impacted by that decision. And I would say that's one of the hardest leadership attributes to put into practice. But I'm confident when I look at the 650 plus young people in this room, that you are capable of doing just that. Many of you have left your nonprofit programs that you're supporting this summer to be here, to take a few hours off, to be able to invest in yourselves, because you see past what's just in front of you. And you wouldn't have been selected to be in this room if it wasn't for that. So I encourage you to take advantage of all the opportunities that are in front of you, even when you listen to the boring adults, and to try to take one little nugget with you every time you come together for one of these forums, right? You guys are destined for great things, but to do big things, you gotta have a big resume, and you gotta have a big network, right? And so in order to do that is taking advantage of the resources and the people that have presented themselves committed to helping you get just there. So I thank you guys for your commitment to the city. I say have a wonderful summer. We love you, we appreciate you, are our future. If you ever need a job, come find me! Okay, Lisa!
How good is she? Oh my gosh, I want to listen to you talk every day. Could you give me a pep talk? So guys, we have one more guest here. We're so glad to be welcoming the leader of our city, Mr. Mayor Walsh. We're so glad. Mr. Mayor, my favorite interaction that you and I have ever had, and I've gotten to see the mayor a bunch of times. My favorite was, and I think this exemplifies the kind of mayor you are, was one year at the marathon. I don't know if you guys know this, but John Hancock also helps with the charitable program for the marathon and sponsors it. There was a day where the mayor did not leave the finish line until basically the last runners had crossed. He stayed cheering and giving people high fives way past the ceremonies and the wreaths and the parts that he was officially there for. He stayed to cheer on all the normal runners, who are not really normal, by the way. Anyone who can run a marathon is kind of a superhero. But Mr. Mayor, you are a leader for us, a leader for the youth, and we appreciate you being here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys. Let me just thank a few people before I get started. President Bob Brown, thank you very much, and BU. How about giving BU a round of applause? They're amazing. I want to thank John Hancock for what you do every year. I want to thank our partners, the Boston Globe, Boston University, Partners Healthcare, and about 65 nonprofits in the city that are helping us make sure we have a successful summer with summer jobs. I want to thank Marty Martinez, the Chief of Health and Human Services for the City of Boston. I want to thank Will Morales, who runs Boston Center for Youth and Families. I want to thank Lisa. I was with Lisa yesterday, and I was at Camp Hopperview with her, and I have to tell you, the first time I met Lisa, what's going on down there? First time I met Lisa was at the Camp Hopperview gala they had, and Jack Connors said, you know, a new person at Camp Hopperview is going to speak tonight, and Lisa told her story, and I was like, oh my God, how real is that story? And then I saw her yesterday interacting with the kids, and I said, oh my God, this is the type of person that we need leading the city and leading organizations in our city. And I say that because I'm looking out at a bunch of young people that you are the future leaders of the city. Your stories, everyone has a story, and your stories are inspirational, even though right now you probably don't think your story is inspirational, but your stories are inspirational. Because I sat in a hall like this at one point in my life, and I didn't think my story was inspirational. And you realize that as a human being, just being around, your story is inspirational, what you put up with, what you go through growing up as a teenager, as a young person. Then you take your family life and you throw that in there. And I don't know about you, but my family life was great, but it wasn't like a straight line. It was a little crooked sometimes. You went in the house, and my famous thing was my mother said, you don't talk about what goes on inside the house out in the street. And so I didn't. But it teaches you who you are. And Lisa is somebody, and all the other people, Bob Brown, all the other people I mentioned, Marty Martinez, Will Morales, those are folks that I look up to as the mayor of the city, because you have to look up to somebody. I was asked yesterday by a bunch of young people at Camp Hopperview about, well, you're the boss of the city, what you say goes, and that's not how it works. I wish it worked that way sometimes, but it doesn't work that way. I listen to people, I listen to everyone that's out there, and you are truly inspirational. I'm off I have notes here, and I'm completely off track right now. Let me just get back to notes real quick. Thank you, John Hancock. John Hancock is a great partner in the city, because not only do they employ young people for the city, but they also build a program around it. Not all of your peers that are working summer jobs are sitting at Boston University today and having a conference and a conversation about young people, about your importance. They're not doing that. Those of you that are paying attention here today to this, it's important for you, because this, trust me, this will come back and help you in your career as you move forward, whether as you graduate high school or going to college. And I think there's some college students here as well. This will help you. John Hancock's doing that. This impacts, what John Hancock's doing, impacts 655 young people every year from neighborhoods in the city of Boston. What you're going to do, the experience, I know I spoke to you last year, but the experiences you're going to have, does anyone in this room know what you want to do for your career in your life when you graduate? Who knows what you want to do? What do you want to do when you graduate college? Just yell it out. No, the white shirt. Yell it out to me. FBI. Somebody else tell me, give me one other thing.
The
what do you want to do?
mayor of Boston.
Mayor of Boston, I like that. What else? You way back. Tell me what you... Mechanical engineering. Okay, great careers, great professions. By the end of this summer, some of you might want to be investment bankers. By the end of the summer, some of you might want to be careers that you never even thought of, that you didn't even know about. Because when I was 17 years old, I didn't know what it was like I didn't even know what a president of a college did. I didn't know what a John Hancock company did. I didn't know what any of that stuff was. No, in my kitchen table, we didn't talk about that stuff. My father was a construction laborer. He got dirty every day. He came home, he was dirty from working on construction. I didn't know what that stuff was. I knew that people that wore a tie and a suit, I thought they were successful. That's what I thought. I didn't know anything better than that. I didn't have the opportunity that you're having this summer. I didn't have that opportunity to work in an office and talk to somebody about what it means to be an administrative assistant, what it means to be a lawyer, what it means to be in those other professions. I didn't know that stuff. So the experience that you're gaining this summer is invaluable. It's something that's going to be with you forever. So as you think about those careers you mentioned, those careers that were mentioned were pretty good careers, by the way. But as you get older, you're going to realize, well, maybe I want to do something a little different. The young guy down the back that yelled out Mayor of Boston, you might realize someday, well, I want to make some money. I don't want to be the mayor and listen to complaints all day. I want to actually be the president of a bank and make money. You might say, well, I'm going to do this role. Let the mayor do the mayor thing. But that's what it's all about. So this company's been incredible. Hi, Mike Joyce from the Georgia Boys and Girls Club. Hey, Mike. For the next 3 years, John Hancock's going to expand their partnership as well with a program called EverFi, which is going to provide financial education to MLS scholars, MLK scholars. Now, when you get your money, right? How many people in here, first check you get, want to buy new sneakers? I'd want to buy new sneakers. Who wants to buy like new clothes? I want to buy new clothes. Who wants to buy whatever you want to buy, right? What John Hancock's going to help you do is provide you the opportunity to learn how to save money too. Because someday, after you buy the sneakers and the clothes and the shirts and the sweatshirts and all this stuff that you buy, hoodies and things that I like to buy, you want to have a few bucks in the bank because you might need it. You might need it for college. So this program is going to help young people in our summer job program as far as understanding what it is to make money. Last thing I want to say, a lot of you in this room, you're already leaders and role models. You have an opportunity to be role models for everybody and leaders for everyone. There's a lot of challenges that we have going on in Boston right now. Those challenges in some neighborhoods is violence. Some of those challenges is drug addiction, alcoholism. Some of the challenges is poverty. Whatever the challenges are. The way that you change that is you individually have an opportunity inside this auditorium today to change that for your family, to change that for your community. My road to this stage today, being mayor of Boston, was not a straight line. I didn't graduate high school with honors and then go on to a great college and graduate college and then go into a great job and all of a sudden run for office and win overwhelmingly and run for mayor and win. That was not how I got to this stage. When I was your age, I worked, I liked having fun, and at your age I started drinking. And my drinking, what I thought was fun, turned into alcoholism. I have friends of mine that started smoking weed and it turned into an addiction. You can laugh about it, but it's serious. It turned into an addiction. And anyone who laughed about that, I want you to think tonight when you're walking home and you see a homeless person on the street and you walk over that homeless person, if that person woke up one day, 15, and said, well, I think my career is going to be, I want to be homeless, and I want to sleep in a wooden box or a cardboard box, and I want to beg for food, and I don't want to have my family in my life, and I want to be completely alone, I don't think anyone had that goal in their life. And that's what alcoholism and drug addiction does, in a lot of ways. It tears families apart, it tears individuals apart. There's people in this room that are dealing with alcoholism and drug addiction in your home. A lot of us did deal with that. But what happened for me was, I had a dream. My dream was I wanted to be in politics. I had a goal. Just like the people in the room that said you want to be a mechanical engineer or whatever the careers were you said, I had those dreams when I was your age as well. But along the way, for me, those dreams became not reachable because I wasn't doing the things I was supposed to do. I dropped out of college. I didn't go to college when I should have. I didn't do well in high school. I wanted to be somewhere, but I wasn't doing the things to get to that point. And I found myself sitting in a detox. And when I was in a detox, and those of you that don't know what a detox is, it's a place you go where you go to try and get clean from drugs and alcohol. The next step is jail, and the next step after that might be dead. That's pretty much how it goes. And when I was in there, I said to myself, why am I here? This is not what I expected. This was not what I wanted to do in my life. And when I got out of there, I realized that my life started to get a little better day at a time. And I went back to school. I went back to BC at night. And I was working days, and I was going to school nights, and I realized that I wanted to do something. And I ran for office, and I got elected. And I worked at the State House, and now I'm going to school. I'm a state representative. And then I graduated Boston College back in 2009. I got my degree, and I was like, oh my God, I'm older. I wasn't a kid, I was older. But I was proud of that, because my parents weren't from this country, they're from another country. And 2013, I had the chance to run for mayor. In 2013, I was running for mayor, and when you run for mayor, you don't know everything. And a woman at a forum, a black woman, said to me, "What's the state of racism in Boston?" And I said, well, you know, now it's a tough question because you're running for mayor and you want to say the right thing. And I said, well, you know, it's not as bad as it was, but we have work to do. And she kept pushing me on that, saying, basically telling me, you have no idea what you're talking about. And I went home that night and I had a meeting with my campaign team and I said, I had a question today that I completely bombed. And I knew the answer wasn't right, and I knew in my heart that we have a lot of work to do when it comes to racism, and I knew we have a lot of work to do when it comes to young black boys and girls, and Latino boys and girls, and Asian boys and girls, and even white boys and girls. And we sat down and we talked about it. And now as mayor of Boston, I get elected, and the very first couple months of my time being elected, the shooting in Ferguson happened. It was the first time that me as a mayor had to confront something about what happened in Ferguson. Those of you that remember what happened in Ferguson, there was riots all over the country. We didn't have riots in Boston. Because what I said was we're going to talk about what happened in Ferguson to try and make sure that doesn't happen here, but by doing that, it's understanding each other. And the reason why I'm telling you this story is that one person can have an impact on somebody's life. That woman that challenged me that night changed the way I campaigned for mayor. That woman that challenged me that night changed the person that's standing in front of you today to understand that it's okay to talk about racism and it's okay to address the problems because you can't fix them if you don't address them. I'm saying that today, not to get an applause from me. I'm saying that to challenge every single young person in this room today to follow your dreams and make a difference. Change the neighborhoods that we talk about. Change the perception by going out there and being leaders in those communities. A leader can just be talking to your friends, making the right choices. Don't make the mistakes that the people that came before you, because we all made mistakes. I said, I'll never drink, I'm not gonna drink, it's not gonna happen, I'm not gonna do it. I see too much devastation. I've seen my friends drug addicted, heroin addicted, weed addicted, crack addicted. I said, that'll never happen. And you know what happened? I was in a detox. I made the same mistakes as the people that came before me. So today, I want to say to all of you, I'm proud of all the work you do. I'm proud of our young people in Boston, because as far as I'm concerned, we have the best young people in the United States of America right here in our city. You are the future leaders. Thank you. Thank you for letting me come and say a few words today.